So why will swinging like Happy Gilmore give us more distance? Well, using our feet is going to help us to move our body. And I'm going to describe the science behind that to help you understand. So we're going to start with Newton's first law, which is that an object will stay at rest unless influenced by an outside force. So, for example, if I'm here in my setup and I don't move, then I'm going to stay at rest. But however, in order for me to move, I need an outside force. And so that outside force will be first the ground, right? And in order to use the ground, we need to use our feet in order to utilize that to start that motion off, but even more to develop power and speed on the way down. So when it comes to swinging like Happy Gilmore or just moving our feet, our pressure right and left, which is called pressure shift. So I'm gonna give you an example. So if I step back and forth, right, as if I'm dancing, but with that, in order for me to go right, I push off my left. In order for me to go left, I push off my right. And if we look at Happy Gilmore swing or a lot of long drivers, we can see what? That when they start off by exploding off the ground and using their feet more actively than we are, right? And we can see that a lot of times because you can see on the ground that a lot of these long drivers or pros that hit it the farthest actually have wear marks on the ground when they finish practicing. So what we're going to do is break down to you what you should feel in terms of being able to step right and left and use that more actively within your golf swing. So now let's break down Happy Gilmore's golf swing and how he used his feet and why he didn't keep them stable and how that helped him to hit the ball long and straight. So if we set up and if I were to take the club back and lift my foot up and then come back, land, and swing, what happens there is this, is when I set up, first, I'm using my lead foot to push off to get to my right. And then now, when I step back, I'm using my right to push onto my lead. And then after that, then I explode with my lead foot to turn and rotate. So with that, that's helping us to see that really within our golf swing. So if I go to the top here, that I want to feel first that I'm pushing off my lead, right? So a lot of times we see Rory McIlroy doing this and Xander Schauffele, and which is why they're small, but they hit it a long ways, is they utilize their feet well in order to use the ground. And with that, the ground and their feet influences what goes on up top. So with that, so if I set up here, explode from my left and move back, then now, since I pushed off my left and moved to my right, now I can dynamically use my right leg to now push back onto the left and explode from there. So again, so say if we were at the top, the feel would be to step, right? So not bump this way or not just be stagnant. And for a lot of slicers, that's what the issue is, that they're not using their feet well, right? Because what we have is a kinematic sequence. And the kinematic sequence within a downswing describes it as hips, torso, arms, then club. However, there's a missing piece within that kinematic sequence, right? It is the feet. The feet come before the hips because this is our base. So now, if we take that application, we go to the top, it will be feet, hips, torso, arms, then club. And so now we can understand that being able to use our feet well is going to help us to hit the ball further. So, how's it going, guys? When you take a look across my content, with all my different students, you may notice that some things that I have them do or what I may say seem kind of funky. However, with that, the key to understand is that it is personalized for them. So, how do you get to the point of understanding what you need to change personally for you instead of worrying about certain changes that another person make and trying to copy it and it doesn't work for you. Well, the key to understand is that you need a diagnosis. So with that, I will be doing a assessment along with an evaluation before making certain changes within your golf game. So if you're ready to get assessed and get things personalized for you to improve your golf game, comment down below, assess, and let's get started. Now I'm going to break down a drill that you can do while on the driving range to help you to apply the move that Happy Gilmore does, but also the longest drivers. So if we go here, right, the drill will be a step drill, but this is the unique drill. Instead of usually having a step drill where you just start here and move the club back as you move forward, we're going to use both feet, right? So now we're going to start off with about our feet together. Then I want you to take a mini step right and then take a mini step left. Now, however, the timing is very important, right? So we starting with feet. So right goes first, the club goes back. And then the sooner we can start this lead foot to step this way, the more speed we can develop, right? So it'll be this way. And so a lot of times with the best pros is compared to amateurs is that they are starting their transition coming down as the club goes back. While for a lot of amateurs, we're starting it at the top where they started beforehand. And so if you can get this foot to go and then get this to start as soon as possible, then you'll be able to have the same type of move that the pros have. And now, if we set up, we can apply the same thing. So it will be this move. Going back dynamically using that lead foot to go back. And then now we try to push off the right to get to the left as the club goes back to help us develop that speed. So try out that drill and this principle to help you hit the ball 20 yards further by swinging like Happy Gilmore.